Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of QUIZME with QUIBSKI Solutions Architect Edition. My guest for today is Adrian. Adrian, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, Sir Rafi. Good evening, and also good evening to everyone who's watching this video right now. Just a quick introduction. I'm working as a senior solutions engineer right now in Novare Technologies. So it's a solutions provider company in BGC. And just to give a quick background on what I do, currently I have a project that we're helping the client to migrate their on-premise application, and we're also utilizing one of the containerization tools, EKS, or Kubernetes Managed Service in AWS. So it's kind of a mix of replatforming their on-premise applications and at the same time deploying them on a containerized environment in
Wow.
AWS. Yeah, that's currently that's my day-to-day task as of now. Ever since this quarantine started.
Wow, so that's a very exciting project, no? And yes, since we are
Uh,
currently work from home, maybe you can share some tips on how you stay productive during this period, or either through the being productive studying the exam or even from on your work itself.
Yeah, so I guess isa sa mga pwede kong i-share no to everyone, especially during this time since lahat talaga tayo is working from home. Uh, Syempre una is maintain natin yung work-life balance natin na minsan ako naging guilty rin ako dito na ang nangyayari pagkagising ko ano na agad work na agad magdamag tapos minsan hindi ko na mapapansin yung oras parang wala akong time sa sarili ko for example quick workout lang or just a quick break para hindi tayo masyadong ma-overwhelm or ma-stress.
Yes.
And I guess ano rin, let's not be I guess too hard on ourselves. Lalo na ngayong quarantine na to since syempre ang laking adjustment din talaga. Although medyo naglalighten na yung restrictions ngayon about sa quarantine pero nakita ko sa sarili ko na gusto ko pa rin maging productive din and mas bukod sa ginagawa kong work everyday um, naisipan ko na rin kasi talaga na magseryoso, mag-aral din to take my solutions architect certification. Um, Yun nga, by God's grace, nakapasa ako and just to share din, second take ko siya. Pero ano rin, after nun, na-realize ko na marami din kailangan din ipag-prepare like yung mga study materials, practice exams. So, sa mga nag-a-aspire din to be solutions architects or to take any AWS certification. So, just take it one step at a time. So, eventually you'll get there then. And ako hindi lang talaga ako nag-give up sa first try ko and nung una medyo na-down ako or na-disappoint pero hindi ko hinayaan yon and I studied again, I practiced more in AWS and yun, naging successful naman and nakapasa ako sa certificate. So yun
All
lang.
right. How long yung gap mo, or would you recommend, no, in terms of gap? Like say, for example, on the first take, hindi pumasa. Ano yung suggested mong
Mm.
gap to be more sure na papasa sa second time?
Well, before kasi din ako nag-take ng exam, nag-undergo ako ng 5-day
Mm.
bootcamp with
Mm.
Trainocate, if you're
Yes,
familiar.
Trainokit, the
Um,
another AWS ATPN, meaning authorized training
yes,
partner.
that's
Yes.
Yes, so I also recommend them since sobrang dami ko rin natutunan doon about AWS, yung mga technical essentials niya. So last year, tinake ko siya, yung bootcamp na yun for 5 days. I believe that was around July or September
Mm-hmm.
last year. Then ano,
Mhm.
nag-try kasi agad ako nung first try, after 1 to 2, I think that was around October last year. Pero nakita ko nga hindi pa ako gano'n ka-confident pala i-take 'yon. Then ano, after no'n nagkaroon ako ng mga projects related sa AWS, yung mga anything related to AWS migration or most recently ngayon nag-integrate kami ng on how we replatform the on-premise app to AWS. Ano rin, naka-boost 'yon sa confidence ko. So, I guess it took me around more than 6 to 8 months again para masabi ko sa sarili ko na okay, let's do this. So, wag na natin patagalin and I really just want to achieve this and yun nga, just also studied hard, prayed to God and yun, and I was able to pass this second time
All
around.
right. Thank you, no? And again,
Mm.
congratulations on that. So
Thank you,
let's
sir.
move on to
Mm.
our next part, which are sample questions, no? So I'll show you some sample questions powered by Tutorials Dojo, and I'll read out the questions, and you read out the answers or choices, and any kind of explanation why you chose those, no? All right. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. So for your question, you have a new e-commerce web application written in Angular framework, which is deployed to a fleet of EC2 instances behind an application load balancer. You configured the load balancer to perform health checks on this instance. What will happen if one of these EC2 instances failed the health checks? Yan. So you have four options.
Okay. Mhm. The first option, the EC2 instance is replaced automatically by the application load balancer. For the second, the EC2 instance gets quarantined by the application load balancer for root cause analysis. Third is the EC2 instance gets terminated automatically by the application load balancer. The fourth is application load balancer stops sending traffic to the instance that failed its health check. Okay, so ano muna before natin sagutan, balikan muna natin yung question. So, okay, kailangan natin tingnan is it's a web application kaya it's using a application load balancer to serve HTTP, HTTPS traffic.
Mhm.
So, uh, behind this application load balancer, makikita nyo it's deployed to a fleet of EC2 instances. So uh, yung application load balancer forwards listens on HTTP, HTTPS, and forwards the traffic to the EC2. So ngayon, kailangan natin i-check yung load balancer para yung health check for the load balancer. Um, okay, so ano mangyayari pag nag-failed yung health check? Um, for the for the first item, uh, I don't believe that I think this is not the first answer kasi the EC2 instance is replaced automatically. So I believe we can rule this out first. Tapos ang mangyayari kasi it's auto
Mm.
scaling that replaces the for si auto scaling gumagawa nito to replace unhealthy instances and then just replace them with a
Mm.
new one. So yung second option is instance gets quarantined by the application load balancer. I don't, in my experience, I don't think I've ever heard of an instance na quarantine. Um, so I guess pwede na natin i-roll out to. So third is EC2 instance gets terminated automatically by the application load balancer. Well, this is not true. The only way, naiisip ko lang EC2 instance if, for example lang, if spot instance siya and if hindi siya nasa tamang bidding price, mata-terminate siya.
Mm.
Something like that. For me, yung last option, the application load balancer stops sending traffic to the instance that failed its health check. Kasi nga, si application load balancer, it checks if the meron kasing target group for the load balancer. So doon makikita mo nakalist yung mga EC2 instances, ano doon yung healthy and ano yung doon yung unhealthy. So pag nakita yung sa health check mo, unhealthy siya, hindi magsasend na ng traffic doon si application load balancer. So yeah, for me, I think this is it's the last answer.
All right, so let's check it out. And correct. No, that's a correct answer. Yes, indeed, it's not the load balancer that that changes or even terminates the instances. No, that could be your auto-scaling group with your auto-scaling policy. Right? So load balancer just isolates it. Right. Next question. An application that records weather data every minute is deployed in a fleet of Spot instances. Oh, you just mentioned Spot a while ago. Now you have one. And uses a MySQL RDS database instance. Currently, there is only one RDS instance running in one availability zone. You plan to improve the database to ensure high availability by synchronous data replication to another RDS instance. Which of the following performs synchronous data replication in RDS?
Okay. Sige. For the first question, DynamoDB read replica. Second is RDS DB instance running as a multi-AZ deployment. Third is RDS read replica. And the last is CloudFront running as a multi-AZ deployment. Okay. So again, ano lang, balikan natin yung question and um, I guess ano dito, ang unang clue mo dito is yung gumagamit siya ng MySQL RDS instance, RDS database instance. Um, since MySQL RDS, it's relational database service and ngayon kasi ang concern nila, isa lang yung running RDS instance in one availability zone. So, mangyayari dito, prone siya for single point of failure. Kasi what if nag-down yung isang availability zone, possible magda-down na rin yung RDS instance mo. And gusto nila maging highly available to and synchronous yung data replication to another RDS. For me, ang sagot dito is yung RDS DB instance running as a multi-AZ deployment, yung option 2. Uh, so, yung DynamoDB kasi, ano siya no SQL database. So, doon pa lang roll out na
Hmm.
agad siya. Uh, yung third naman, RDS read rep. Ganto, para hindi tayo, ang tip ko lang din, read replica kasi, uh, asynchronous replication siya versus dun sa multi-AZ deployment. Ang tinatanong kasi dito, high availability and synchronous data replication. So ang going back, RDS read replica kasi is asynchronous and ang nangyayari kasi nagde-deploy lang siya ng a replica of your database to handle the for example, nabubog na sa performance ganyan. Pero yung RDS DB instance, multi-AZ siya. So you can have in at least two availability zones for high availability. And yung last naman is CloudFront. So I think hindi din yan. And so CloudFront kasi is parang CDN service siya ni AWS. So I'll stick with option 2.
Yes, no, very good, no? Kasi that's our keyword nga, synchronous. No? So, asynchronous nga si read replica, as you mentioned. So, that is correct. Just to take note lang now to our viewers, being read replicas are asynchronous, there is a chance for delay. So, just double check that as well because asynchronous meaning it can have delays. Right. Next question. Here we go. An online cryptocurrency exchange platform is hosted in AWS, which uses ECS cluster. Okay, containers to. and RDS in multi-AZ deployment configuration. The application is heavily using the RDS instance to process complex read and write data operations. To maintain the reliability, affordability, and performance of your systems, you have to closely monitor how the different processes or threads on a DB instance use the CPU, including the percentage of the CPU bandwidth and total memory consumed by each process. Which of the following is the most suitable solution to properly monitor your database?
Hmm, okay. Um, so for the first question, use Amazon CloudWatch to monitor the CPU utilization of your database. Um, Second is enable enhanced monitoring. Um, Third is create a script that collects and publishes custom metrics to CloudWatch, which tracks the real-time CPU utilization of the RDS instance. And then set up a custom CloudWatch dashboard to view the metrics. The fourth is check the CPU and MEM metrics, which are readily available in the Amazon RDS console that shows the percentage of the CPU bandwidth and the total memory consumed by each database process of your RDS instance. Hmm. Okay. So going back to the question, um, which is okay. So dito gumagamit ng ECS cluster and meron ka ng RDS ngayon naka multi-AZ na siya. Uh, but the thing is yung application is yung we need to maintain the reliability, availability, and performance of our system. So uh, gusto rin natin ma-monitor yung different processes or threads on a DB instance. Use the CPU, CPU bandwidth, and total memory. Okay, so ano yung pinaka-suitable solution to properly monitor your database?
Yun,
Well, I
napaisip.
guess
Hmm. Napaisip
um,
na. Ah.
well, I guess um, again, roll out muna natin yung mga, I think hindi sagot dito is yung first option, you use Amazon CloudWatch to monitor the CPU utilization of your database. Kasi, tinatanong niya rin kasi yung total memory consumed by each process. So, and dito kasi sa first option, yung CPU utilization lang. So, I guess, i-roll out muna natin to. And, uh, enable enhanced monitoring in RDS. Um, hmm. As far as I remember, yung
Hmm.
enhanced monitoring, it helps parang sa something to do with, for example, by default kasi I think it's 5
Correct.
minutes, pero pag nag-enhance monitor ka, pwedeng 1 minute or something like
Hmm.
that. Um, yung third option naman, create a script that collects and publishes custom metrics to CloudWatch, which tracks the real-time CPU utilization. So, and eto, dito na lang ako nagde-decide yung last two options between the check the CPU and
Mhm.
metrics. So ready. Hmm. I guess I'll select the third option, create a script that collects and publishes custom metrics. Ang naging basis ko dito is yung memory percentage metrics kasi I think they're not readily available in RDS. Um, and uh, I believe yung CPU kasi nandun na siya, yung CPU utilization. Pero dito, I think we need to create a script para mag-publish ng custom metrics dun sa CloudWatch. And then another custom metric in the CloudWatch dashboard to view the metrics. So I'll stick with option 3.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's check now. So though, so here,
Enable and
uh, apparently, number one, I think this option that you selected, we'll look here, no? It's basically, you can't really create a custom script and install it in RDS because it's a managed server, no? So if you had to make a
mm,
custom script, you'd have to put it in your ECS. But where will you get that from? Where will you get the RDS info? So basically, parang it's a little impossible na yung number 3, no? Uh,
mhm,
so here, sa enhance metric, so sabi dito, it's basically by, tama ka naman in a sense, like by enhancing, you get more granular data, no? So that's an answer there. And sulat lang natin dito, ayan, the fourth option is incorrect. And because it's not readily available daw. So you need the enhanced metrics. Apparently, it also adds additional information. So ito. All right. So let's that's a actually that's a quite a difficult question, no? Uh,
mhm.
and usually anyway in production, your production databases are already enhanced, diba? Uh, Normally you would already pick enhanced monitoring anyway if you're using production. So let's try their next question. So our next question is, a content management system, CMS, is hosted on a fleet of auto-scaled on-demand EC2 instances which use Amazon Aurora as its database. Currently, the system stores the file documents that the users upload in one of the attached EBS volume. Your manager noticed that the system performance is quite slow, and he has instructed you to improve the architecture of the system. In this scenario, what will you do to implement a scalable, high throughput, uh, actually I don't know how to pronounce this, no? POSI, POSIX
POSIX.
compliant file system. Ayan.
Okay. Um, mm. For the choices, so create an S3 bucket and use this as the storage for the CMS. Use EFS. Third is upgrade your existing EBS volumes to provisioned IOPS SSD volumes. And the fourth is use Elasticache. Okay. Hmm. So going back to the question, uh, yung mga on-demand EC2 instances, they have an Aurora
Mhm.
database. Currently, they store their file documents na ina-upload ng mga user sa sa mga attached EBS volumes ng mga
Yep.
EC2. So napansin nga nila nagkakaroon ng parang bumabagal dahil sa yung performance nila. And what can we do to help improve it? Okay, so in this scenario, what will you do to implement a scalable, high-throughput POSIX compliant file system? Um, for me, I would I would already rule out yung create an S3 bucket. Kasi S3 bucket normally it's used for storing static files, um, and I don't think it's appropriate to shift from EBS to S3 for this specific use
Mm.
case. Um, yung EFS naman is, well, ito yung elastic file system na I think this is the best choice kasi EFS kasi you can share this with I guess for example at 1000 EC2 Linux instances
Mm.
or na magiging parang network file system mo siya.
Yes.
So, and ang mangyayari din dito is POSIX compliant din si EFS and um, you can also store uh, yung yung data na ini-store mo sa EFS depende dun sa ina-upload mo na data. So, parang nangyayari, for example, you have an EBS volume na 100 gig in EFS, dinedetermine yung current volume based dun sa current upload size ng mga documents. So, tapos yung third option naman, upgrade your existing EBS volume IOP. So, um, I think hindi rin itong third option kasi uh, I think hindi tinatanong kasi dito POSIX compliant dapat na file system. And Elasticache kasi naman is for example, caching your data. So, I'll stick with option 2.
All right, so let's check that out. Option 2. Ayan, correct, no? And that's very good, EFS. And there's a news announcement about EFS lately that EFS is now supports also Lambda. So your Lambda function serverless can use EFS mount points already. So you can have a shared file system to be accessed by your Lambda, no? Can you imagine that talaga? That's so there you go. As you can see, multiple easy to connecting to different mount points in a file shared file system. All right. So our last question: you are working as a solutions architect for a technology company like Novares. Did I say it correctly?
Yes, sir.
Novare. Oh, yan. Which is the which is in the process of migrating their applications to AWS. One of their systems requires a database that can scale globally and can handle frequent schema changes. The application should not have any downtime or performance issues where there is a schema change in the database. It should also provide low latency response to high traffic queries. Which is the most suitable database solution to use to achieve this requirement?
Okay. I recall din maraming tanong about DB during DB types during the exam. So for the first option, Redshift. Second is Amazon DynamoDB. Third is Amazon RDS instance in multi-AZ deployments configuration. And the fourth is Amazon Aurora database with read replicas. Um, okay, sige. Analyze muna natin yung question. Okay, so ang unang requirement nila is it should be able to scale globally and handle frequent schema changes. So, dun pa lang, I think dun sa word na schema, may clue ka na dun eh. Application nga ayaw nila ng any downtime or any performance issues. Whenever there's a schema change in the DB. So, syempre, ano rin yung last is low latency and should be able to respond to high traffic queues. I-roll out alisin muna natin si Redshift kasi Redshift is a data warehouse. So, and it uses columnar data storage. So, hindi yan yung sagot. Um, Amazon DynamoDB, it's NoSQL, and I think DynamoDB can handle frequent schema changes. So, let's select DynamoDB kasi pag tiningnan natin naman yung third option, Amazon RDS instance in a multi-AZ deployment. Amazon RDS kasi it's a relational database service even if multi-AZ siya. So I think hindi for this specific use case, kailangan kasi nila na makapag-handle ng frequent schema changes, which is I think DynamoDB can handle this one. And for the fourth option naman, Amazon Aurora database with read replicas. Aurora kasi is it's kind of like uh, it gives better performance in some ways over RDS. Pero I will stick with DynamoDB for this answer.
All right, so let's check it out now as our last question. Correct, no? That's the advantage of DynamoDB, being schema-less. So if it's schema-less, that means any change to schema, go ahead, no? Just change it. Uh, you just store it in JSON. Uh, so there. So for those who want to read the explanation, of course, I'm just scrolling down, but you guys can check it out, no? All right, so basically that was all our questions a while ago. And congrats, no? Again, you got 4 out of 5. So that's still very high score. So parang ano yan, pass. Pass pa rin as a solutions architect, right? So any last tips and words of advice for our viewers?
Um, Siguro ano na lang din, just going back, uh, um, let's just take this time to upskill ourselves tulad ng ginawa ko, I didn't let my first examination na even if nag-fail ako, di ko hinayaan yun na magkaroon ako ng doubts or worries na kung bakit ganun nangyari in the first time. Pero I just push myself to do better and ano rin, I know medyo mahirap for some people yun, but take the time to do it step by step then. And for me, ano talaga, experience talaga is the best way on how we can learn more about AWS, apply the best practices. And if ano rin, if some of you are still struggling to know more about them, just keep practicing uh, these practice exams, especially itong tutorials dojo. So very big help din sila kasi yun nga, nakikita natin yung detailed explanation nila if nagkamali ka, and eventually you will definitely pass the exam. So yun lang.
Right. Thank you, though.
Mm.
Speaking of tutorials dojo, I just learned recently that two people who got interviewed here eventually joined tutorials dojo. So John Bonso, he's also I'll probably link it or put it in a video, no? Also guest
Mm.
here, and basically afterwards he looked around, he saw the other people who are guests and invited them to join the company. So yeah, you never know who sees you and what happens, no? So again, thanks Tutorials Dojo also for powering our questionnaire. Right, so everybody else, our viewers, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Anything.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right.